Hello, I'm Abby, a mother of two. My story began when I got divorced and had to raise my boys on my own. That was really hard. I mean, have you ever felt completely alone in this world? I had no help, no extra money, and not enough sleep, of course. I had two jobs to simply buy food and clothes for Bruce and Dylan. But that's not the main point of my story. You can think, what on earth could be worse than that? But, well, the children I sacrificed everything for ended up abandoning me. Time went by and my sons grew up. Oh, we had really hard days, but imagine how proud I was to call those smart, handsome guys my sons. They did well at school, always helped me around the house, and got on well with each other. What else could I want? But we had kind of close connection, only till one day. That day, Bruce and Dylan left home to get education. I knew it would happen one day, but just think of it. How can one get ready for such a moment? I got used to them always being around. Like, you spend 24 hours at work and don't see your children, but that's enough to know they are still not far from you. I don't think both of my sons understood how much I missed them. They started sort of brand new lives. They lived in a new city and met new friends. I felt really lonely. Do you know that feeling when you hold your phone close all day, not to miss some important call? I was that person who was always waiting for one. But my boys called me too rarely. I tried to soothe myself, thinking something like they must have had a hard day, or maybe they're getting ready for a test. I was afraid to face the truth. Things got even worse when Dylan and Bruce graduated from universities. They had always been smart, and I knew they would build up fantastic careers, but that was too much. Would you approve of your children always moving from one big city to another? We didn't see each other for a long time. Sometimes I got postcards for my birthday. Not even a telephone call, but just a postcard. Can you imagine? I was crazy about that. The only thing calming me down was the fact they had girlfriends. You see, every woman hopes her kids would find their perfect match one day, a soulmate, so to say. I was looking forward to eventually meet the girlfriends, but I was completely surprised to find out that Sarah and Betty were not as excited to meet me. Everything I experienced before was just the beginning. The boys told me they would come in advance. How nervous I was. I worked as a waitress in a nice cafe in our town, so I decided it would be great to have dinner in the cafe and show the place I work at. If I only knew everything would go so much wrong. First of all, my son's girlfriends wore gorgeous dresses, and I felt like, okay, that's not Oscar Academy Awards. That's just a quiet cafe in a small town. But they seemed to look down on me, for I was not all dolled up. When Sarah and Betty found out I was working as a waitress, they couldn't hide some kind of shame and arrogance. They didn't think about me working as a waitress in two cafes to help their future husbands get education. What would you do in such situation? Run away, say everything you think about, or just keep your feelings deep inside? I chose the last option for the sake of my sons. Before they came to town, I bought some nice vases as a present. I thought them to be nice before I saw Sarah and Betty. The evening they went back home, I decided to keep the presents. I knew they wouldn't like them. I was sure I would see their really faces. And the most awful thing was that my dear boys wouldn't help me saying even a single word. They just ignored their girlfriend's behavior, and I thought, that's the moment. Help me, please, 1,000 times. But nothing like that happened. They seemed to forget about me. I was depressed. I felt it was my fault they were ashamed of me. But I could do nothing with it. I didn't want to call Bruce and Dylan after their visit. They didn't call either. I don't know if it was because of stress and depression, but I fell ill. I spent 2 weeks in a local hospital having nosebleed and low blood pressure. You may be interested if I told my sons about it. I didn't. I mean, what could it change? It was Christmas when I came back from the hospital. I still had one day to get ready for my little lonesome celebration. I was surprised to hear someone knocking at the door in the evening. I didn't wait for any guests. I just cried when I opened the door. My little big twins were standing there, and I was happy to see them. They hugged me for what felt like a lifetime of joy and tenderness. They looked at me in the eyes and said it was about time they paid me a surprise visit. I hugged them tight again, and tears were running down my cheeks when I told them about how much I feared to die without seeing them again and hugging them like this. They were so sad to hear about my 2 weeks in the hospital. They felt horrible for not being there with me, but I told them it's fine. They kept kissing my cheeks like they're compensating me for the old times they weren't there with me. I then asked about their girlfriends and was shocked to hear they've broken up with them. My sons told me they realized they don't want to marry someone who looks down on their mom and their past. You are more important, Mom. We need to be with someone who appreciates you and us. Can you imagine how I felt at that moment? It seemed to me they brought me back to life by their words, especially when I heard them saying this. Mom, dear, we're really sorry for everything we've done wrong. We are embarrassed of ourselves for not being there for you. After all you've done for us, we do love you, Mom. We promise that we will change. If something ever happens to you, we'll be there to help. Be sure, we promise.